so much for watching The Forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent. And today we are talking to Turtle Bay. And this is Sharon Clay, and she is the curator of animal programs.
You got it.
I mean, this is very different for us and very interesting to see. I think Christy's a little nervous too.
No, I'm good because Sharon's here. Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've ever seen an animal show at Turtle Bay, she is the head guru of all things animals.
That's right.
At Turtle Bay, and you brought us some visitors. Tell us about who you brought. Can we talk about this little guy?
Sure. So this is Mojave. Mojave is a 50-year-old desert tortoise.
Okay.
50 years old. He actually can live to be 100.
Wow.
He's been at Turtle Bay for a long time. Sadly, someone was keeping him and they were not keeping him properly. It's a very, very common thing with turtles and a lot of exotic pets. We always tell people that, you know, stick with your dogs and cats because these guys, they have such special needs and requirements. Even though he looks like he's just a slow, easy animal and he eats some greens, that should be easy to take care of, but they actually have a lot more needs than that. So we end up getting these rescue animals quite a bit. And most of the animals at Turtle Bay are rescues for one reason or another.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Now, where do you generally get, I mean, like, where do they come from? Like, where did this little guy come from?
So Mojave, we don't have as much background because he's 50 years old and I don't know, most of us haven't been around that long. They're sitting at this table. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to comment on
no,
that.
I love that you said that. That was so sweet. She gave us the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, so I'm not commenting on that.
So I'm sure you were not around enough to know his history. So he's not. So we don't know a lot about his history. We just know somebody was keeping him. We don't know if they took him from the wild, if he was being sold in some sort of a pet trade, because that happens quite a bit, especially 50 years ago. Not anymore. It's illegal to keep a desert tortoise. These guys are considered threatened or endangered, and you have to have special permits to keep one. Even if you kept one personally, you have to have a permit for them.
So how do you become the curator of animal programs? I mean, I'm really interested because you work with all, you know, in the animal shows, you work with all different types of animals.
Right.
Birds and tortoise and badgers. I mean, how
Skunks.
Yeah, right?
That's right. So I went to school. I have an undergraduate degree in biology and physical anthropology with an emphasis on primate behavior. Interesting, because I work with none of those except for the people and the guests, right? But not the wild animal type. And then I went to graduate school for ethology, which is the study of animal behavior.
Wow.
So I consider myself an animal behaviorist. That's really what by schooling and training I am. And then learning how to train animals and work with them was all on the job. I started at a facility in Tennessee called the American Eagle Foundation, and they raise bald eagle youngsters like babies. We puppet fed them and then released them into the wild when the bald eagles were still considered endangered. So while I was there, we were able to put 44 bald eagles back into the wild in the time I was there. It was really amazing to be a part of that project. And so just on the job is where I started learning everything, and the rest is on the job. And when I came to Turtle Bay here in Redding, I was really a bird person. That was all my background was birds of prey, it was eagles, it was other birds. I had worked with about 50 or 60 different species of birds. I had not worked with tortoises, I had not worked with badgers or skunks, so all of that is just that we have a great network in the zoo community, and so if I'm going to get a new animal that's rescue, I'm going to call all these other people that I know. I'm going to put it out on the listservs, and we're going to ask, like, hey, what do I need to do to give this animal the best life I can give it? And
my gosh.
That's what we're here for, to give them a forever home and the best forever home we could possibly come up with. And that's what we do.
And you feel that when you go to Turtle Bay.
Yes,
you guys really are taking such great care of the animals. I know sometimes people think, oh, you've got them in captivity, but the reality is it's a rescue, basically rescue operation. I know like SeaWorld has the largest rescuer of animals in the world, and no one really knows that. So tell us about the programs. This is kind of an odd show, just for our viewers, so you know, in that, not that you're odd, Sharon.
You don't usually have creatures walking on your desk?
We normally don't have creatures. We've got a badger over on the side that we're going to see in the second half of the show. So quickly, we're going to have to break and then come back to see the badger. What are some of the programs that you have going?
So we have animal education programs going year-round at Turtle Bay. So it just depends on the time of year that you come. Throughout the summer, we have our Walk on the Wild Side animal show. That's like our big, giant giant show. That's the one that's choreographed to music. It's scripted. We have like 14 or 15 animals in a half an hour. It's really wonderful.
And that's during the summer?
That's during the summer months.
I think it's actually one of the best live animal shows I've seen in the nation. I've seen them in D.C., Virginia, Washington, Oregon, and yours is at the top of the list.
Well, thank you. We're very proud of our program.
We're so spoiled because Turtle Bay is so good.
It is,
Well, we're very proud of our show and our animals and our trainers and how we do with our animals. We use only positive reinforcement training with them, so it's always a partnership with our animals.
Yes.
And we do programs year-round. We have special turtle programs. We have programs in the winter called Survival. We have different topics. And depending on whatever exhibit's going on at Turtle Bay, we pair special animal programs. So when we used to have the sage in the sit in the sagebrush, we did Animals of the Wild West. And for this world's largest dinosaurs, we're going to be doing the modern dinosaurs, which essentially is a bird show.
Oh yeah.
Fun.
Which is your wheelhouse.
So yeah, which I'm excited about.
So how do you find out? Well, not really how you find out about. Oh, okay, go ahead.
We're out of time for the first half. I know. How fast can that go?
Was very fast.
So what we're going to do is take a really quick break, put our little buddy away, and get ready for the next exciting part. Thanks, Sharon.
Tell us a little bit about Digger the badger.
So he is one of our rescue animals at Turtle Bay. He was found in Oregon. Some people found him on the side of the road. Sadly, his mom was hit by a car. She must have been moving him because he was still in her mouth.
Oh my God.
And some people found him and saved him, brought him up to the High Desert Museum. They raised him for a little while and gave him to us at 5 months. He is now 7 years old this summer. He's been with us. And he's one of the stars of our shows and our programs. We love having animals like badgers because we love to be like the animal mythbusters at Turtle Bay.
He's so docile.
Right?
I mean, he's just very relaxed.
He's very chill.
Follows instructions. And
very
kind of
chill.
Impressive.
And people think that badgers are mean and aggressive, but we don't realize that most of the nature shows just show that fighting ability because that is very impressive, their fighting ability.
Can you see his claws?
So, yeah.
I know, they are extremely long.
He's got some long claws.
Yeah, I was actually afraid of the claws at first, and she said, don't be worried about the claws, be worried about the teeth. Yeah.
Well, that's,
which is true.
That's comforting.
That's what she said. Exactly. But I'm just saying that the claws are just for digging. They dig huge burrows. They'll go into the ground. They can smell a mouse 3 feet underground and then dig at about 3 feet a minute. So they'll smell it, and within a minute they can get to that mouse. And that's all they want to do is they want to dig for underground rodents.
Well, now I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but
he loves honey.
My husband compares me to a honey badger.
Well,
and I don't know. Is that a bad thing?
I personally think it's a compliment.
Okay.
Because it just shows how tough you are, and adorable too. Because
I don't know if anybody's saying they're adorable now. I don't know.
That's not adorable.
I mean,
look at that face.
I think he's adorable.
Look at that.
Okay, fine,
look at that face.
Yes,
he's the cutest thing.
Now, so how do kids? I know you have a lot of kids that do Is it internships?
Volunteers. We have volunteers.
So you let teenagers do that, right?
We do. We have this great volunteer program that we kind of look at as a mentoring program. So the kids come out. It's a year-long program, and it's kind of like joining the baseball team or something. We actually have tryouts, and they have to try out, and they have to like be cream of the crop and come out and work really hard and help us take care of the animals.
And how old do you have to be to do that?
You have to be at 13 is our minimum age, and they get to learn how to do everything. They get to learn how to work around the animals. They get to learn how to public speaking. They learn work ethic.
Oh my
they spend a lot of time cleaning dishes and floors, which
how
is
do they get,
great.
How do they
parents
do that?
like that?
How do they find out about it?
So we have tryouts twice a year. They just can contact our volunteer coordinator, and they can get on the list for the next date, the next tryouts, and then they can try out if they're accepted into the program. Like I said, it's more of a mentoring program than just a straight up volunteer program. So we only take a limited number of kids, and it's a year-round program.
Wow. So they have to commit to it. How long do they have to commit?
So they have to commit for at least a year. Most of our kids will stay 3-4 years until they go off to college or even through that, and it's great on resumes. I have people I've been doing this program. I've been doing this program for over 20 years, and I have kids now that are in the industry or that got into college or went to vet school, and they all say it's because of these mentoring programs. So we're really proud of it.
One thing I do want to ask you before I mean, this time goes by so quickly, and I'm not sure on time, but how is the hotel doing for Turtle Bay? Like,
oh my gosh, it's wonderful.
Oh, look at that
That face, yeah.
Oh, I love the
tell
hotel.
us.
The hotel's just wonderful. It's a 4-star hotel. It's
definitely
beautiful. You walk in. I know this is strange. I love the smell of the hotel.
That's a good thing.
Sharon Weston,
Smells so good in there. It's wonderful. It's been really great for Turtle Bay. It's really going to help us become financially stable.
Yes.
So we're just super excited. The staff is wonderful. We get nothing but
You guys do have great staff.
incredible compliments on our customer service. The food in the Mosaic is wonderful. I eat there almost every day. I had to stop eating there every day.
So are you already, like, it's only been open a couple months at the time of this, but you're already seeing a positive connection with
there's definitely a positive connection with the hotel. The people that are staying at the hotel that come to Turtle Bay are absolutely loving their time. They're loving the full experience of the hotel and Turtle Bay.
Good.
So
just what we'd hoped.
It's exactly what we hoped. The two bits of the two staffs are come together great. We're a great partnership, and we're just so thrilled to have it up and going.
Well, this is so exciting to actually. I mean, it's our own Jack Hanna moment. Only Sharon, we got the magical Sharon instead. So people love Turtle Bay. How can they support? What's the best way to
supporting
donate?
Turtle Bay is become a member of Turtle Bay, become a funding family like Miss Ashley here, or a member. So it's really, that's the way. Come to Turtle Bay, tell everyone about Turtle Bay, keep visiting us.
Ashley, turtlebay.org. Ashley, give them high five because we are almost out of time.
My favorite thing to do. I will totally do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, we gotta wait for him to finish eating his honey. He thinks he's a honey badger, even though he's an American badger. So when he's done, all right, hand goes right here. Okay, ready? And high five. Hey, bud, pay attention. Right there. High five.
Oh,
there it is.
The cutest thing ever. Thank you so much, Sharon, for coming on and bringing your wonderful pets. Thanks for watching. This first half has been amazing, and we'll be right back with the second half of the show.
And we are back, and we're speaking still about animals, and we're talking to Ginger Solito. I love your name, by the way. And she is the founder of Exodus Farms, which is a horse program here in Shasta County. Yes. And I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, this is a lot out of my comfort zone, all these animals.
Yeah.
But it is very exciting to hear what your purposes are and like what you guys are doing. So tell us a little bit about where you are and what it is that you do.
So briefly, we are a horse ranch just south of the Reading Airport off of Dersh, and we serve about 110 kids a week. Our program is for children that are emotionally broken. Most of our kiddos come out of abuse, neglect. There may be addiction in their home. Parents may be incarcerated. Many of our children have actually lost their parents and witnessed them passing. So a lot of our kids come out of grief. Lots of foster kids, group home children, they get to come out and ride as often as once a week. And what's unique about us is that we use discarded horses. They're tossed aside either because of behavior or physical issues, and we rescue them. We rehabilitate them. They become part of the program, and then much like Turtle Bay, they're there forever. We're their last forever home. So the kids really learn to, even though they're not perfect animals, we value and love on them.
Absolutely.
And so we put them all together and just watch the miracles happen.
How did this whole thing start? Tell us your history. What's the story?
So years ago, I had a very small boarding farm in Scottsdale and had gone through some real agony in my own life and my family's life. And had a little young lady, she was 11 or 12 at the time, came to our farm almost every day. She was quite obvious in the relationship. She was verbally battered by her mom, severely. And I would watch the dynamic of this little one go in the stall and read books to a horse and love on the horse, and how she would soften. And then I'd watch the horse soften. It was a little Arabian, and its name was Chaos, if that tells you anything about its personality. So I watched both of them get better and help each other get better. And I remember thinking there's something to this, and I would really like to start something where we can put kids and horses together. It didn't work in Scottsdale. Years later, we moved here. And we were kind of just in survival mode. We bought this broken down old farm. And next thing you know, there was 2 foster kids that came to me within a month, just out of the blue. And I was like, okay, here we go.
Were you a foster parent waiting for
No.
How did they just
We were
come
just
to
old
you?
people. Broken old people on a broken old farm. And so they came with a boarder. They came with a boarder, and the boarder had said, I know this foster child, and could she hang out with us and play with the horses? So there was no intent. At that time, there was no intent.
And that's usually how they start.
And then the next year, it was group home boys from Remy Vista. We worked with high-level group home boys. Again, they just came out there. So we grew from 8 to 10 kids a week that I did after work, and now we have 110 a week. We are facilitated for about 40, 45 volunteers that come out weekly. We're going into our summer season, which means a lot of our volunteers are college students, so they're gone. So we are needing volunteers for the summer, but we're completely donation funded. And we have 14 horses that have been rescued from different life situations, 1 BLM burro.
Wow.
Mr. Chips.
What's that like, the burro with all those horses?
He is, he's just the Labrador on the farm. He's just there for loving. Everybody hugs him and kisses his ears, and he's sweet as he can be. And then we have 5 minis, which I was not sure when we rescued our first mini what the mini's role would be on our farm. But for children that have come out of really fearful situations, the horse can sometimes be intimidating. So to match them with a little tiny horse, they feel safer.
So it's not a pony, it's a mini horse?
Yeah, so
What's
miniature
the
horse.
They're I don't know anything about it.
I don't either, so I'm with you.
They were bred, actually, I think in Europe, specifically for the mines and tunnels. So they are not a pony at all. They are, and when you look at them, they just look like a little shrunken horse.
That's interesting.
So they have the fine lines and all that.
They're more refined, finer bone.
And do we have any pictures of those minis?
Well, she's not our most refined one.
Oh,
But her legs
You
are
mean
there.
those legs that look like a pony?
So my question is, I mean, it really sounds incredible, honestly. I mean, and I found out about this from meeting your husband at jury duty randomly, and then here she shows up, and I'm like, did I meet your husband? But what I want to ask you is, basically, can people come out to your farm at any time and just come visit the horses?
Well, we live there, so not any time.
Well, you know what I mean.
But yes, you can call and make an appointment. We do tours all the time. We love to show people what we do because we're still in awe of what happens out there. It's very interesting to watch the horse, which is a fright and flight animal. If you've studied that at all, they're very sensitive to their environment because their only defense is to flee. And so when we have these children that are, if you're familiar with the ACEs scoring system, okay, adverse childhood experience score.
Okay.
So the kids are rated on how much trauma they've been through. Unfortunately, Shasta County ranks very high in the state of California. We have about 600 kids in foster care. So they also have a very heightened flight and fright. They're very sensitive to their environment. So when you put the two together, it's amazing to watch. And you see the kids calm down. We'll have these kids that are very active, have trouble with relating to people, can't engage for any length of time, and yet you give them a bucket of brushes and they're with that horse for 20 minutes. And it's just that rhythmic, soothing.
It's calming.
It's incredible.
So how do people, I mean, do you only take kids from foster care, or like how can someone ask for a child to be part of that?
So I would say over half of our kids are referred, a lot of them through county services. We also have educators, principals, teachers that refer to us. Foster kids and group home kids are automatically in the program based on, it's obvious they're severely hurting. Same with any of our referrals, but if you know a child in your neighborhood or you have a grandchild, we have so many grandparents in Shasta County raising their grandchildren. You just call us and we'll do an interview and we'll do our very best to get you in. It's always free of charge. We don't charge anybody anything. Even those that come from the county, we just find it's easier, simpler just to be able to share this with people and we can get them in faster and there's no red tape. So we love that.
I do too. I love that. What's one of the most impactful changes you've seen in someone?
Oh my gosh, we see so many every single day, but the first one that comes to mind is a young lady we had. I believe she started coming 2 years ago, and lots of pain and heartache. One of the first things she told me is, I'm not a talker. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I said, well, that's okay, because you really are with a horse. One thing we do is we always pair a person with each child that comes out. So it's horse, child, and volunteer.
Oh, great.
Because so many of these kids have not ever known love. And if you've studied much about the ACEs scores, there's this nurturing piece that happens with a newborn to, 0 to 2 months, that if that's not in place, it affects them forever. So we have so many kids that have never experienced that, and they don't know how to relate. So she told me, not talking, I don't do well with people. I said, that's okay, you just have your volunteer and you can love on your horse. And in about 3 weeks, I was laughing because I'm always out at the arena watching, and she's out there and she's telling everybody all about it and telling them what to do. And I wouldn't do it that way. It's much easier if you do it this way. And I was like, okay, miss, I'm not talking.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
But the animal and the farm, we just see barriers just kind of crumble, and it's nothing magical.
Because it's unconditional love. The horse is just...
Is that why? I was sitting here thinking, why? Why does I've heard story after story of this. National programs like this. What is it about the horses and the children that is so, why does this happen?
Well, the animal is fully accepting.
Yes.
And they know that these kids are safe, and that allows the child to experience that. The other thing for us is we ask our volunteers, and people ask me all the time, how do I relate? How do I talk to a child who's been through these horrific things? We have children who've seen their moms run over by a car. We have children that have been traded in truck stops for drugs when they're 5. So how do you talk to a kid like that? What I tell them all the time, and what's his name, Bishop Curry, said it so well during the wedding, love's what changes the world. It always comes down to the fact that just knowing that you're loved changes your whole perspective. And we see it every day out there, that these kids are changed by love.
And the other thing that I don't think you're mentioning is that it's a testament to you and your husband as well. The people who run the farm, the people who raise the horses. I mean, to be able to, I think it's, and I don't know anything about horses or really animals, but I do think that when you have animals and you have horses, or I know horses are animals, but when you have animals and you have the owner that is basically teaching them how to be with other people and how to be calm and not be erratic, and you had a horse called Chaos, and you could calm down and have kids around. Because I'm thinking the entire time, I'm like, how are you having kids with, these huge animals with one wrong move and, who knows? But I really do think it's a testament to the trainer and the people that are raising these horses and bringing in these kids. So good job.
It teaches children when they're around a 1,200-pound animal, they know, kids self-preserve, they have to pay attention.
That's right.
And the other thing we believe out there is I believe no matter how broken our kiddos are in our community, there's hope for them to achieve greatness.
Yes.
We were just in the parade Saturday, and I asked all my kids to dress up in what they'd like to be as an adult. So they were all these cute littles in their future careers, and they had little signs. So a new boy for us, he was recently adopted, probably 5 years old. He had on his little adoption suit and his tie, and he had a sign that said, I'm running for president. And that's the kind of thing that just warms my heart, because to be able to speak into them and say you're not limited by your past, but rather you're empowered to live your future out when you're surrounded with people who care about you.
Boy, you're speaking our language as an adoptive mother, and Ashley's with her Launchpad program, helping children experience things that cost. So it's so amazing that you don't charge anything. How do you stay open? Horses are expensive.
They are.
They're so expensive.
We are completely donation based. I'm not embarrassed to beg. We need a hay donor desperately. We used to have one, and he retired.
A hay donor, what's that?
somebody who
donate
donates big truckloads of hay.
Oh, not just onesie twosie bales.
Yeah, no.
So
But
just to give you
truckloads,
an
do you hear that?
idea, last year we went through 3 truckloads of hay. It was about $22,000 just for hay.
Whoa,
So,
okay.
But, you know, God is faithful to us. We're a faith-based program. He just keeps bringing in what we need. But, you know, I have to say this. Our community is full of children who are hurting. And they're orphans. They're really orphans. But what I see over and over again is just an hour a week will change a kid's life.
Absolutely, yeah.
An hour a week.
Absolutely.
And we have to start investing in our kiddos if we're going to have a community.
What's the best way people can get connected with you?
Go to our website. It's exodusfarms.org. If you're not sure and you're a little nervous about coming out, there's an excellent documentary that was done about us last year, and it's on the front page of our
Your website.
homepage. I don't know the link.
The front page is good.
ExodusFarms.org.
Yeah.
Ginger, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
This
We
was
loved having you.
wonderful.
What a day! Turtle Bay, Exodus Farms.
know.
We hope you've been inspired, and we're going to look forward to seeing you again next time right here on the Forum.